Hello and welcome. My name is Eileen Weber, and I'm the Global Marketing Manager for Allnex with specific focus on the printing and packaging market. I would like to thank IST for the invitation to speak to you today in this recorded format as I'm based in the United States. First, very briefly, I would like to introduce you to Allnex for those who may not be as familiar with us. Allnex is a leading producer of resins, additives, and crosslinkers for use in various industrial coating and ink applications. Allnex is comprised of four different business units: liquid resins and additives, our largest business unit, crosslinkers, powder coating resins, and radiation curable resins, or RadCure, and the business unit which I am a part of, and the primary focus of today's discussion. Collectively, Allnex is 2.1 billion euro in sale. Globally headquartered in Frankfurt, we have quite the strong presence and locations in every region of the globe. Across the world, there are 32 manufacturing sites, 23 R&D centers, 2 centers of competence, and 5 joint ventures. Moving to the core of our topic today, printing and printed packaging, let me first start with a view of the global market. Taking a snapshot of the market in 2019 for all technologies and all print methods, the market size was estimated at 815 billion US dollars, with publishing accounting for almost half the value, followed by graphics and then by packaging. However, due to influences of the global pandemic, in 2020, the print market experienced nearly a 10% contraction. Reestablishing the baseline and now looking forward, the 5-year expectation is that the value will increase at a compounded annual growth rate near to 1.3%, but overall the volume will decline. Much of this is due to shifts in sectors that are growing and how print is used in these specific sectors. And then also, many pressures that are on the market today are causing shifts and or focus on efficiency improvements in printing methods, which can also affect how much print is used. Further, energy curable inks and coatings are a relatively small piece of the market, but they are a portion that remains quite healthy because of its advantages that it offers in things like environmental, process, and performance benefits. Although energy curable overall is relatively small piece of the printing market sector to the overall energy curable market, printing sectors are quite important. That is, of the total energy curable inks and coatings market, which was roughly 760 kilometric tons in 2019, about 40% of this was associated with printing, be it printing inks as well as overprint varnishes. And then drilling into the printing inks themselves, sectors like inkjet, which are strongly dominated by energy curable, are also still quite small, but rapidly growing on the whole. If we then look into global trends affecting the printing and printed packaging industries, there are 6 that I'll highlight here. First, let's take a look at consumer preferences. With rising education and literacy rates overall, this directly increases consumption of the printed word. However, regional and generational differences have significant impact on how the printed word is consumed. That is, some preferring hard copy versus digital, and it's the types of printed materials, that be magazines versus books, leisure versus business, and so forth. Next is convenience and availability, influencing both printed materials and packaged goods. With increasing access and connection speeds for internet and mobile, there is higher expectation for instantaneous fulfillment, whether it is delivery of reading material to a tablet or purchasing goods online with same-day or 2-day delivery. Further, with on-the-go lifestyles, more easy-to-use and user-ready products are in higher demand. Next is consumer appeal. With more savvy buyers, consumers are not necessarily as loyal to specific brands as they once were, but rather are driven by the individual consumer types. With this, brand owners have to up their game in order to stand out, incorporating more complex designs with more product interaction features. Further, there is trend towards more customized marketing and products to more personally appeal to the consumer, placing certain demands on printers and designers. Linked to all of this, the next trend is simply shorter, shorter, shorter. That is, shorter product life cycles, as consumers want products that are constantly refreshed, similar to what they see in their news feeds. Shorter time to market, as consumers want access to products more quickly, requiring a much more agile supply chain. And shorter print runs, again to satisfy the increase in product customization and made to order product. Next, let's look at brand protection. Brands are under continual attack, and often the traditional means to protect them are not keeping up. So there's a strong need for easy to print solutions that are hard to copy. And finally, last but not least, is sustainability. Sustainability now matters in every aspect of printing. What what was once a nice to have feature is now becoming a must have feature. And as sustainability is fast moving and an evolving topic, there's not a single answer to solve every one of everyone's objectives on sustainability. We see that, among other things, legislation is a driver, and this will vary by region and even down to local municipalities. So, then what does this mean for ink and coating formulators and to raw material suppliers like Allnex? We can take each of these broad reaching trends that we just discussed and hone in on the correlating important trends for printing inks and coatings and where Energy Curable can provide solutions. So let's take first efficiencies in conventional litho. Lithographic printing has long been seen as one of the most cost effective approaches for long print runs and intricate print designs, as the majority of the cost is in the print setup itself. However, now, with pressures for shorter, faster, and more customized print runs, and with most of the growth projected in packaging, this puts some added pressures on conventional lithographic print to remain competitive. To name a few focus areas and offerings of UV, materials need to exhibit improved ink water balance at faster press speeds. There is also conversion from traditional cure to LED cure as a means to reduce energy consumption and reduce cycle time and work in process. And there's continuing development on products to replace for less label friendly synergists like amino benzoates that can also offer solutions for low migration applications. Next, let's look at special effects. As noted, designs and features that make the product stand out are increasingly important for brand differentiation. Improvements continue for binder resins and cure techniques that can be incorporated into overprint varnishes, especially to provide soft touch or ultra matte without compromising key product performance. Often, materials that provide these special effects come with unwanted negative impact on things like labeling, product labeling, or application or performance. Newer technologies are now available, and formulators are innovatively finding solutions without these same negative features. Also, addressing the need for brand protection and increased security features, the use of resins with varying refractive indices, both low and high, are growing. Shift to digital. This is ideal for short print runs, quick changeovers, and print on demand. And in particular, inkjet printing is of most interest when it comes to energy curable systems. As low viscosity is crucial to inkjet printing, this makes UV an ideal fit. However, the lowest of viscosities are often monofunctional and not as label friendly or as robust in performance. Thus, to support this, there is continued focus on materials that can provide high reactivity and robust performance with low viscosity, and also materials that can offer adhesion to a wide variety of different substrate materials. Also supporting the growth of packaging, where there are many concerns about UV systems due to their migration, there is continuing developments in the areas of more label-friendly 100% solids materials, as well as waterborne UV materials for inkjet. And the reoccurring trend, we see it here, is the shift to LED cure as a means to further reduce energy waste. Low migration. Very important to the packaging sector is the need for materials that can address concerns around migration of low molecular weight species. Developments in the area include polymeric photoinitiators, and the other quite interesting approach is that of self-curing binders to eliminate the need of traditional photoinitiators altogether while still using UV light sources to cure. Specific to growth of LED cure, boosters that are more label friendly than traditional amine acrylates or aminobenzoate type synergists have a good fit here. And finally, e-beam curing is another means to eliminate photoinitiator, but using a different cure source. Sustainable solutions. As mentioned earlier, it is growing into a must have versus a nice to have, but sustainability is being addressed through a myriad of different paths, all of which need some attention to bring them to fruition. Probably the most common aspect of sustainability that comes to mind is recycling, and UV and EB technologies can offer solutions here in supporting the de-inking of substrates. Also, in trying to reduce the complexity of packaging to make them more recyclable friendly, or even to make them more compostable friendly, brings rise for new solutions with inks, coatings, and adhesives, and Energy Curable can offer benefit in these. There is also an increasing desire for materials with higher renewable content. And finally, as a means to reduce waste of energy, a move to UV in general, but even more specifically, a move to LED cure is often seen as providing good sustainability. And finally, it has to be mentioned are the regulatory trends. Regulation is important and seems to be coming with even more demands. The world is shrinking in terms of how we are all interconnected, and this impacts regulation as well. There is continued trend and rising need for globally registered products. Staying up to date with all the substances of concern can be a full-time focus, and eliminating these materials remains essential. And finally, the need for more label-friendly products in general is a space that continues to evolve and can be addressed with energy curable solutions. Although this is not all-encompassing, these highlight significant trends that Allnex, as well as other suppliers, formulators, and converters are working towards. I want to thank IST again for inviting me to speak today, and I want to thank all of you for participating as well. My contact information is included here, and I welcome anyone to reach out to me if you have any further follow-up questions. Thank you, and have a good day.